How do you become top of mind in your local market? So when someone in your market needs a roof, are they calling you? Why or why not? So what does this whole concept of top of mind mean? It means when someone in your local market, in your local area, is in need of a roof repair, roof replacement, whatever kind of services you offer, you want to be the one that they think of. Hey, I got a guy, I got a company, you got to call these guys. They're great, okay? And the thing about top of mind is that you're not just being top of mind to your end customer. You want to be top of mind for people that are in the position to refer you and recommend you. So Mrs. Jones on Main Street might not need a new roof for the next 20 years, but maybe she has a friend or a neighbor who needs a new roof, and she sees your content, she sees your trucks and your signs and everything all over town, and she's in a position to recommend you just because she has that brand familiarity. I was in a copywriting workshop last week, and Mike, the guy who was running it, used this term called 5 Mile Famous. And the alliteration is great. 5 Mile Famous. It just makes a lot of sense. It sounds really cool. So how do you become 5 Mile Famous in your local area? If you're a small roofing company or a solo sales rep, you don't need to market to the entire city. You really just need to be 5 Mile Famous. If you're a bigger company, then, well, you could be 5 Mile Famous in a lot of different areas around your market or in different markets. But think about that topic, that idea of being 5 Mile Famous, getting everyone in a 5 mile radius of wherever you want to target, getting everyone in that radius to know who you are as a roofing company, as a sales rep, as a problem solver, as a trusted advisor. So the next step is, how do you actually do that? If you want to become 5 Mile Famous, become known as the guy who can solve those problems, the roofer to call, the company to call, how does that actually happen? Well, what you need to do, and then the way that you need to approach this, is by planting seeds in your market on a daily basis. So you're going out there, you're doing estimates, you're doing inspections, you're doing projects, you're doing builds. Share what you're doing. Show people what you're doing. Take pictures, shoot videos, tell people what's going on. Hey, we're doing this estimate for this homeowner because they had this old roof. It was all, there's missing shingles, and they had some streaking going on, and they knew it was time to look at their new roof and get that addressed. So here's what we're doing. Or, hey, there's a storm that came through, caused some damage. These homeowners were concerned. They want us to take a look at it, make sure that they didn't have anything too serious. Or, hey, there's a repair that we're making on this commercial roof. Because they had this issue, and here's what we're doing. So share stories of your projects, show people what you're doing, and then tag those cities, those towns, those addresses where you are. You're sharing your stories, you're sharing your content on a daily basis, you're tagging where you are. If it's appropriate and you have that kind of relationship, then feel free to tag your client, whether it's a homeowner, a business owner, if it's another contractor maybe that you're working with on a job, like an HVAC contractor or a building contractor. Tag as many people as you can in your content, and that's going to enable their friends and their followers to see your content as well. So you're not just keeping your content in your tight little bubble, you're expanding into other networks as well. So when you do that, you're planting seeds in your market on a daily basis. Now, you're planting seeds today that you're not necessarily going to get to harvest today, but you're planting the seed today that you're going to harvest 6 months from now, 12 months from now, 2 weeks from now. You never know. But by planting seeds continuously, you are going to be able to harvest continuously, because you never know when any given person in your market is going to need your services. You don't know when they're going to have an issue with their roof that needs to be repaired. You don't know when they're going to have an issue or they just want to get their roof replaced. You don't know. So you need to be out there consistently planting those seeds so you are top of mind, so you're getting that phone call or you're getting that the direct message when they need your services. Without planting those seeds, those people don't know that you exist and you are invisible to them. You have to be top top of mind and become 5 Mile famous. And do that by planting those seeds with your content, telling stories of your projects, checking in those different towns, those areas, tag the addresses, tag your clients, tag other contractors that you're working with, and you will create that omnipresence effect. Man, these guys are everywhere. This guy's everywhere. He's so busy. He's doing that. Oh, I know her. He's doing a roof for her. That's awesome. He must be a good roofer because, she's a great person and she wouldn't hire just anyone, right? Oh, he's doing the roof on the restaurant downtown that I go to all the time. That's awesome. I got to keep that in mind. Even if someone's not consciously thinking that, they're filing that away subconsciously. And when they need a roof or they know of someone who needs a roof, they're going to be in a position to refer you because they see you as a trusted advisor all over the place in your market. So be top of mind. Top of mind is tip of tongue, okay? Like I said at the beginning, you're not always marketing to your client. You're marketing to people that might be in a position to influence a decision, to recommend you, to refer you. So be top of mind. Build out your little your little farm so you're 5 Mile famous. And if you get everyone in your market in a 5 mile radius to know who you are, you will have an endless supply of business. So take action on that. Do what I told you. It's going to pay off, I promise. And I'll see you in the next video.